If you're teaching yourself guitar, there's a good chance you're doing a few things wrong without even realizing it. That's not because you're bad at guitar, it's because some things are really hard to figure out by yourself. So in this video, I'll save you some time and share the biggest mistakes self-taught guitar players make, so you can avoid them. My name is Simen, I've been playing guitar for over 15 years, I have a degree in music, and built a learning platform playwithaplan.com where you learn guitar by following a proven plan. Even though I've made this for self-taught guitar players, this video can really be true for anyone. Especially mistake number 1, which is flat fingers. So the mistake is using too much of the flat part of your finger, but instead you want to use your fingertips. So you don't want to fret the notes like this, but you want to play more like this. And to make this easier, you want to have some angle on your fingers. So instead of this, do more like this, so almost like a spider. And that way it's just easier to use your fingertips. You don't always need to use your fingertips, because in some situations it doesn't really make sense, especially with your first finger sometimes. But a good rule of thumb is to use your fingertips when possible and when convenient. And you might drink some sparkling water and then ask, why do you need to use your fingertips at all? What's the point? Good question. In fact, I didn't know about this for the first 6 to 7 years of playing, and I did just fine. But when a guitar teacher told me to use my fingertips, then my technique improved a lot, especially my legato playing, so hammer-ons and pull-offs. It's just because it's a bit easier to fret notes and you can play with less effort. So in short, it's just a bit more efficient. So this is a tiny detail, but it will make your technique better. And good technique equals happiness. By the way, if you wonder what you should work on after this video, you should check out the free guitar roadmap. This shows you exactly what to learn on guitar in order. Inside, you'll also find YouTube videos I have on many of the topics. Just click the link in the description to get it. Mistake number 2 is a classic, which is relying too much on tabs. First of all, there's nothing wrong with tabs at all. In fact, in some genres, like classical music, you usually learn songs by reading notation. And if you just want to learn songs and nothing else, then using tabs is totally fine. However, guitar is usually more creative, so it's very useful to learn songs by ear as well, instead of just using tabs. Then you might have a look at your sparkling water again and ask, but why do you need to learn songs by ear? Why not just use tabs? You're asking some very good questions today, by the way. But learning songs by ear is especially useful for your intuition. That is, when you don't think too much when you're playing, but instead you are kind of feeling, so you just kind of know what sounds good. Learning songs by ear is also great for your understanding, because a wise man once said, a good guitarist can play the guitar, but a great guitarist also understands the guitar. However, most advice stops here. They usually just tell you to use your ears, but how do you do that? It's actually really challenging to just figure it out when you have a whole fretboard in front of you. There's so many options, especially on guitar, where you can play one part in so many different places on the neck. So I want to share 3 steps to learn a song by ear, just to get you started. I've already done a video on these 3 steps, so I'm probably going to share that somewhere below this video. Anyway, step 1 is to just figure out the key of the song. Because most songs stay in one key for the whole song, and if you know the key, then you know what scales and notes to use. For example, if the song is in a major key, you can use some kind of major scale. If the song is in a minor key, you can use some kind of minor scale. So let's say the song is in C major, then you can simply use the C major scale. So most likely, the song will use notes from the C major scale. Step 2 is to figure out the chords of the song. And a good way to do that is to start with the bass notes. I'm just going to use a random example now. Then you want to add the full chords to the bass notes. Then step 3 is to figure out the melody of the song. And again, if the key is C major, then there's a good chance that the melody is mainly using notes from the C major scale. That was just a quick overview of some steps you can follow to easier learn songs by ear. But learning songs by ear becomes even easier if you avoid mistake number 3, which is neglecting theory. If your goal is to just play songs on guitar and that's it, then you don't really need theory at all. But if you actually want to understand guitar, then you will need some theory. If you call that the bad news, I also have some good news for you. Because you don't need to learn a lot of theory at all, there are only a few things you need to learn, especially 2 things. The first one is to learn the notes of the fretboard. And you don't need to memorize all the notes, you just need to know how to find them. This is good to get a better understanding of the guitar in general. It's also very good to understand how the guitar is connected. And when you're playing, you will see that you need this skill all the time. For example, let's say you need to play the chord G on different places of the neck. Then you first need to be able to find the note G. The next important thing is to understand the theory behind the major scale. This is stuff like how the major scale is actually built and what chords belong to the major scale. And the reason you need to learn this is because most music theory is based on a major scale. So once you understand the major scale, it's much easier to understand everything basically. For example, you need to understand the theory behind the major scale before you understand the theory behind chords. So for music theory, these are the 2 most important things I recommend to learn. Let's move on to mistake number 4. The YouTube trap. So it's kind of ironic that you're watching this video on YouTube about not falling into the YouTube trap. But in my opinion, YouTube is amazing for quick tips and learning some specific things here and there, like for example this video. But YouTube is not the best long-term solution for learning guitar. It has become so common to rely on only YouTube for learning guitar. It is totally possible, but it's also really hard. The reason is that you can get loads of great information, but it's just all over the place. There's no structure or no plan. So my advice to solve the YouTube trap is very simple. That is to pay someone to get guidance. Many people will think that they don't want to spend any money, which is totally fine. But imagine that you spend 200 hours on YouTube and you don't see a lot of progress. But with the right approach, you can see very good progress in only 20 hours. So in my eyes, I've then saved 180 hours. To me, that sounds like a very good deal. And if you're going to pay for guidance, 2 of my favorite approaches are 1, guitar teachers. A good guitar teacher can just tell you what to do, and then you just do that. And number 2, online memberships. I really recommend a place where you find a complete solution to learning guitar. That's why I really like memberships, because you usually get access to loads of stuff. And in a good membership, you will also get access to some structure and not just loads of random courses. Personally, I'm not a big fan of buying individual courses. That's because they're usually great for learning something very specific, but it's not great for everything. It's not like a complete solution to learning guitar. Anyway, if you want to learn from me, you might want to check out my membership, which is called Play with a Plan. Inside, you get access to the success path. It shows you exactly what to learn, in order, with detailed courses on each topic. It's super simple and straightforward. That's playwithaplan.com if you're interested. But no pressure, do whatever feels good for you. You're a special snowflake either way. In the next video, I share what I recommend to learn on guitar in order. Bye!